Welcome back, everybody. Today, it's going to be a little bit of a different video. It's sort of with a bit of a broken heart that I have to admit that while I have spent just an unreasonable amount of time on this build, designing it, making sure that it works and functions the way that it should. Unfortunately, due to a recent update, the functionality of this cube has been broken. So I just wanted to lead with that because I'm not going to get rid of all this footage that I've got. I'm not going to throw away all the work that I did trying to make it happen. And it did work back once upon a time. So hopefully someday it will work again. But in the meantime, I just wanted to preface this video, start off not misleading anybody. You might be able to make it work if you're like the luckiest person on the planet. But I've done quite a lot of testing, and you cannot get these placements as tight anymore as in the original design that I've got here. So this is a save from a few weeks to maybe a month ago when I built this originally. But like I said, I haven't been able to recreate this placement since the update. So I'm just going to go ahead and work off of this old file and show you guys this design that I've got, an upgrade to the Super Forge. This right here is the Forbidden Forge, a design that will no longer see the light of day on a vanilla Rust server, unfortunately. But as you can see, we've got four furnaces in each row, top and bottom, 3 rows on each floor. So that's a total of 24 furnaces if my math is correct. And we've got 1 large battery powering all of this. The splitters, I mean, this energy grid is about as optimized as you can get while still maintaining 1 power source. There are some variables here that, you might be able to get rid of, but I do like having at least 1 branch so that you can still adjust power as needed here or there. I typically would have a branch before the initial switch to this system, so that way if you needed to steal the power out of this cube for whatever reason, power a turret during a raid or something like that, you'd be able to just jump off of that branch and then power somewhere else. But in testing, I wasn't able to get this grid simplified enough where that was entirely possible. So right now this is about as optimized as I can see it being. I mean, the leftover energy is very low on this whole system. You'll notice when it's switched on, which it is, there's power going to each of these furnaces through these splitters, 3 each, just like they need to function, just like absolutely as bare bones as it can possibly be. The splitter on the back is also just barely making it with a little bit of extra power. I think maybe 1 extra unused power coming out of this system to hit the igniters that I've got set up in here. So 2 conveyors, 2 igniters to help you turn these furnaces back on if there's a server reset. Not really necessary for this design. Definitely helpful though if you don't want to have to keep, removing furnaces to turn them back on, but definitely an option if that's something you're looking for. But like I said, this pretty much does absorb like every ounce of power that otherwise could be used. It looks like there might be 2 extra, yeah, it looks like there might be 2 extra rust watts per minute that could be saved, which could be, you could probably pop a branch right there to allow for that. But since this design doesn't work, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it out. In the future, if the developers reconsider the hitboxes for these furnaces or for these walls to make it such that they can be placed like this again, then I'll definitely consider adding another branch here so that way you can steal the power off of this circuit and use it to power other things when necessary. But yeah, so I've got it set up so that this switch here that turns on the igniters is powered by the extra energy that comes off of these conveyors in the pass-through. These conveyors are powered by this blue wire that comes into this splitter, and all the rest of these splitters are powering either another splitter, such as these ones here, or powering the furnaces, such as these ones here and here. Now these electric furnaces require 3 rust watts per minute to function, and they all have that. As you can see, they're all getting fed, but the reason that this design does not work is because the placement of these is so close, at least this is my theory, that it's actually separating their power nodes from actually being accessed. So you'll notice that this one says that it's an empty power node. However, you can clearly see a wire dropping down to connect to this furnace. I don't really know what else we can do to make this work. I'm trying to see. I'm not exactly sure which of these wires powers that far furnace. It could be a little hard to gauge. I have rewired some of the ones along this wall. Like, for example, I'll pop this one right quick. So it's getting powered from a splitter. You can see that. Let's go ahead and rewire it just to make sure that you get the idea. So it's disconnected now. We're going to reconnect it to this splitter. It's getting 3 rust watts per minute to that furnace. We go in here, open it up. It's got 1,000 uncooked high quality metal ore in there. Pop it on, nothing happens. That's why it's my theory that when these furnaces are as close to these other objects as they are, like such as this one being pressed up against this wall, it just prevents the electrical grid from functioning the way that it should. Now, I could be wrong. I've tried a few things, including turning the server settings such that all of these furnaces default to being on when they're placed. I've switched it back to being off, manually powered them, and used the server rights to power them, and I've not gotten these I've not gotten this design to work. So that's why this is the Forbidden Forge. In my opinion, a beautiful and very sophisticated design. I really, really wish that it would work, and I really wish that it worked for y'all, so that way I could show you a live build of it on a server, but I've spent the better part of the day trying to make it happen. I've got a lot of footage from building this because getting these placements right was incredibly difficult at the time, and I just cannot get it to work in a way that is convincing or in a way that makes it seem like you could actually use it in the game. So I'm not gonna waste all the time and footage that I gathered putting this together, and I'm hoping that somebody in the development studio with Face Punch will see this and say, we kind of did want that to work that way, or maybe there's another way we could make this function. Maybe the electrical grids can be reworked so that this is possible. I don't really know. I do know that placing these furnaces up against these walls is now much harder. The hitboxes for the shipping container walls are a little bit smaller than the standard metal walls. I'll show you what I mean by that. You've got the shipping container wall there. Pop down a standard metal wall here. The wall itself sticks out past this wall behind it by quite a bit, like at least 1.5 inches to scale, and then there's a little bit of an overlap on the inside as well. You see what I mean here? There's a significant amount of space that's saved by using the shipping container wall in terms of the hitbox or the visual hitbox of this wall pattern and this wall pattern here. The issue is that while it is a visual difference, it doesn't seem to be as much of a practical difference as it used to be. So if I pull out another furnace here, it used to be that you could place these almost clipping these walls. This is as close as you can get now. That's as close as it'll get. Same with this wall, more or less. If you look at them, more or less in the same exact spot on these two tiles. If you go in here and actually look at what it used to be, you used to be able to place them literally clipping the wall in some places, like where these reinforced beams are. Look, it is literally just clipping over the flat wall here. And that's just not something that is even possible anymore in these placements. The same with down here. There's a pretty sizable clip in this corner. Yeah, see, like there's a clip right here on this windowsill. This kind of a placement is just not possible anymore. I've spent a few hours trying to make it work, to say the least, and you just cannot get that close anymore. Like that's as close as you're gonna get right here, and yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But I just wanted to clarify that in case anybody, sees this and thinks, oh man, I can't wait to put this in my base. It's probably not going to work unfortunately, but maybe in the future. I have hopes that Face Punch will find a way to make this work and revive this design. For now, it's just a memory. This is the Forbidden Forge. Thanks again for watching. There's going to be more videos coming. Been playing a couple of new games lately, taking a break from Rust. I've been playing Kenshi, which is a really cool sword punk post-apocalyptic survival game with base building mechanics, ninja samurai art styling. It is a ton of fun, very hardcore game, brutal to play and learn. Very steep learning curve, but a lot of fun. So I'll do some base tours in that game, show you what I've been working on. Also started playing some Project Zomboid. I was gifted that game by a really good friend of mine. I'll link him in the description. He streams quite a lot and just makes some fantastic content, is a hilarious dude and a sweetheart, so show him some love, and I'll show you some of my Project Zomboid exploits and adventures once I have a little bit of time to record those. But Kenshi's coming up, more Rust content also coming up, so stay tuned. And if there's any other games you guys want me to play, let me know. Subscribe if you want to see more. Just, keep it moving. I appreciate you watching, and if this isn't for you, then go watch somebody who makes what you want to see. Thanks again, and have a beautiful day.